Good everyone, I'm AzureBlaze, and welcome back to another My Thoughts on video. In this one I'm going to be talking about Keeper. It's going to be a little bit different though. I haven't got anything fully scripted out, or even half scripted out like I usually do. I've got some notes. It's mainly because I want to have sort of a non-spoiler than a spoiler section in this one. Mainly because I think this game is best played going into basically blind. And I completely recommend that. I'm going to say this right now before I even get into the non-spoiler section. If you want to play this game, or are you definitely looking at playing this game, please go into a blind. It's amazing like that. To get my thoughts right out of the way, it's fantastic. And I think it's definitely worth playing it without seeing anything. However, otherwise, I mean, most people watching this probably watch my Let's Play, which is which is fine, I guess. However, I want to keep it there in case, because some of these My Thoughts on videos do tend to get more views and stuff than the actual Let's Play episodes and things that they're based on. Therefore, I guess, yeah, I'll make sure how I go. However, yeah, in this, I guess, non-spoilery section, I want to talk about a bunch of different things. However, I won't get too in-depth to it. The first thing I sort of want to talk about is like the story. I'll talk about the base of the story, I guess. There is a lighthouse and a bird that sort of join forces to go defeat a corruption that's spreading around the land. That's all I'm going to get into, because it does get very crazy. Yeah, it's a very simple story for the most part. However, it gets wild and out there later on. Gameplay-wise, I'm not going to go too in depth into later things because I think they're good surprises. However, at least to start with, you play as this lighthouse. You always play as this one specific character. However, you're walking around on like 4 legs and stuff, and it's kind of wobbly and slow, and you can like push a beam of light thing everywhere, and then you can like send Twig the bird. Well, I think Twig is the species of bird. However, you send Twig out to basically solve puzzles, and yeah, basically Twig ends up being your arms. I guess is the best way to be it. Yeah, it's very simple gameplay. Works really well though. There's a lot of points where it's sort of simply walking around, which is fine. Like you tend to take in the atmosphere because this game's visuals are off the charts. This is such a nice looking game and such a stylized game. And it's very rare you see games stylized to the point where it almost becomes a gameplay feature. And a lot of the stylized art is used in the game in very interesting ways. I don't know, it's amazing. I really, really like it. I think it's amazing, and it looks great. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of varied locations as well that you go around. It's perfect. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say though for the spoiler-free section, because yeah, this is going to be a smaller video. I should probably preface that because again, I don't want to talk about it too much. However, I am going to go into the more spoiler-centric section. Yeah, therefore, be warned, I guess, because I want to talk about some of my, like, I guess, the most parts I enjoyed and all that sort of thing. I can start with the story. Yeah, triple warning right now. I'm about to go into spoilers. Been warned, I guess. The story, though. The story, while it is simple, does take a lot of twists and turns. I like how the relationship between the lighthouse and Twig and Twig's child, who comes along later, sort of works out. It's a very nice little family dynamic, even if you keep losing them all the time. And the idea is you have to get to this top of the mountain, and on the way you're helping people, and they all come back to help you in the end, and all that sort of thing. And, like, it's great. I really, really like it. And like you have to like solve all these different puzzles everywhere, and there's like contextual parts. You find like the only real way to get like text-based stuff in the story, and something I think that's really interesting and would like to see more things do, is you go around and you put together these statues almost, and they like give you the text for the story in the achievement you get for putting them back together, which I think is really neat, and it's something you can read up on later. And it shows you how much of the story you've missed, if you've missed some of the story because you've missed some of the achievements, basically. It's really, I like it. It's such a great way of doing things. It's very unique. I don't think I've seen anything else do that. I'm sure there probably has. However, I have personally haven't seen anything else do that. And it's really, yeah, I really, really do like it though. Yeah, and I'll get to the ending in a second. I'll get to that. Yeah, because I really think the ending is quite good. However, there's some different play styles to go deeper into the gameplay. Like, you start off as the lighthouse. However, there's a point where your lighthouse body breaks and you become a fish boat thing. It's a boat. How like you sort of swim like a fish, and you can move really really fast around in water and stuff. And you can go underwater in some parts and all that sort of thing. And that's like a whole section of the game. That's like I want to say it's probably a good third of the game being a boat, and it's really neat. I really like it. And then yeah, you go up like. You just waterfall. It kind of looks like it's gonna be the end of the game. You go up the waterfall to defeat the corruption spawn or whatever it's called. I don't know. And you get destroyed again. And then you turn into a wheel for a little bit, and you simply spin around. You catch on fire from some lightning, and you can use fire and different things. It's neat. You go really fast. You can use some momentum-based stuff to play around with momentum-based stuff to solve puzzles and things. I really like it. It's great. And then finally, after the twigs help you defeat the corruption while you're a circle. You defeat the corruption by like shining different lights on different parts of it, and then the twigs come in and they help you and they put different things up, and it's a whole bunch of different fun stuff. It's a really good final boss, personally. I actually really like it. However, yeah, the twigs help you with that, and then after that the twigs carry you out from the cave that you defeated the corruption in, and you find all these different pieces of your previous bodies lying around. You get like a little bit from the lighthouse, you get the boat as like a part of a body, you get like struck by lightning and stuff like that again, you get the fire, and the like legs get to grow out of the body, and you kind of become this like griffin type thing with like wings that you can glide in. It's like a culmination of like the entire game built up to that point, and I think it's really great. It's such a neat way of ending the game. You don't get to be it for very long, however you get to be it for long enough that I think it's like a nice reward for going through all these, well, I wouldn't say all awkward styles of playing. Like, they're not really awkward. I think only the lighthouse version is probably the most awkward. You get these like all these different play styles, and they are like they're great. However, they're limited in some way. Like, you can't do things as the wheel that you could do as this thing, or you can't do things as the boat that you could do as the lighthouse type thing. However, it is great to see. I like how it works. Yeah, and then you get everything together. You can sort of glide and stuff like that, which comes from like everything. I'll talk about my favorite moments in a minute. However, it comes from like another area of the game. However, as I was saying, no, the ending, it's surreal. It's really strange. You get to the top of the mountain where you've sort of been heading the whole time, and you have to like open an eye that's on top of the mountain and then fix it, the whole thing. And like before that, you say goodbye to the twigs, which is really sad. I'm gonna miss the twigs. However, you like have to like fix the eye that's on the mountain, and when you do, you sort of get deconstructed and taken inside and all that. And yeah, it was it was an interesting ending. The game throughout the entire thing kept chucking random moments at you the whole time. It was always strange, always interesting to see what was around the corner. I never expected anything, which I feel like I should have got to a point where I was like, I should have expected something stranger. However, like, it simply kept upping and upping, and it was great. I really, really do like it. As I said, I'll talk about some of my favorite moments. When I was talking about the gliding thing, I was referring to earlier in the game, while you're in the lighthouse, you get some like cotton candy like looking clouds that surround you, and it allows you to jump really high and like sort of glide over different things. Yeah, that's like a really fun part where you're like in the air, moving around and all that sort of thing. And there's a part where in the game you're in this like tech town, and you have to like help do different things with time, and you're constantly switching through time zones. And my favorite part is simply about that is the location, like all the little robots going around everywhere and all that sort of thing. It's always great. There's all these parts with like the sea, and you go up the waterfall to defeat the corruption. It's super fun. I really like this game. It's not the longest game. It's although it did. Every now and then I kept going, oh, I feel like the game must be ending now, and then it kept going. Therefore, it's a little bit longer than I was expecting, however, it's not the longest game. It's simply great though. It's such good, like, little fun. Like, it's primarily, like, I guess narrative and puzzle focused. I say narrative despite the fact that there's, like, no dialogue or text or anything like that. It's all told through, like, actions and stuff, and, like, the character of the lighthouse is extremely, like, I don't know, what's the word? I can't think of the word right now. However, like, you can see all the different emotions on this, essentially, like, light with 2 eyebrows. That's it. And then the twigs have all their emotion as well. You can emote using the twigs. It's great. It is such a fun little game. It's something I definitely recommend. It looks absolutely fantastic, and well, it's not the most in-depth game, I would say. As a shorter experience, simply to have an experience, I mean, it was my 2025 game of the year. It passed Crossworlds for that, because, like, I simply enjoyed it a lot. Like, I wouldn't say it was, like it was fun. However, I wouldn't say it was, like, as fun as Crossworlds or something, because that's more like an arcade racer. However, the experience itself, I think, overshadows it by miles. It was such a fun game, and that ending was, like, surreal and strange, and it fit with the entire game. It was such a good game. Yeah, however, that is all I really have to say for it. I apologize for the sort of segmentation of this video. However, I did want to, like, keep different spoilery sections. It kind of means that I won't be able to, like, I mean, I could get footage that, like, matches different things. However, I probably won't get as much to sort of do that. Yeah, it was good though. I really, really do enjoy this game. However, I hope everybody enjoyed this video and the series if you watched it all the way through. Thank you for watching, and I shall be back in the next one. Cheers, everyone.